Everyone, my name is Bridget Hanratty from the Bridget Hanratty Home Team. You're probably watching this video to learn some tips and tricks on how I developed my real estate team and became one of the top ranked realtors in Central Florida. And don't worry, we'll get there, but let's start from the beginning. Many people can say that they set out to be a realtor and did everything to reach those goals. Personally, it kind of fell into my lap. I was 21 years old and lived in North Carolina, where my husband was stationed in the Marine Corps. I had a job in an art studio where I taught Irish dance, modeling, acting, sign language, everything under the sun. Unfortunately, the owner of the studio wanted to grow her business in just the photography aspect, so my time was cut by 3/4. It was then one of my clients there, Leah, contacted me to ask if I would be interested in being a nanny for her 3-year-old daughter, Madeline. Leah was one of the highest ranked realtors in eastern North Carolina, so she was constantly busy while her husband was deployed 9 months out of every year. I agreed to help her and developed the best relationship with this family. But one day, I was watching Madeline. Leah called me frantically, needing some help writing an offer on a home because her only assistant quit on her at the last minute. So she walked me through the writing out an offer process over the phone while she was driving to another showing. This woman had drive. She was so impressed at how quickly I understood the contract and the attention to detail I had. That night, when Leah came home, she asked me to be her part-time assistant until Madeline started pre-K, and then eventually become full-time. I thought this would be a great opportunity, so I accepted and started to learn the ropes. By the time Madeline started school, I was in control of the admin side of Leah's business. Fast forward 2 years later, my husband was getting out of the Marine Corps, and we decided to move back home to Orlando. I knew real estate could be something I could do on my own, so I immediately got my license, passed the test in the first try, and signed up with Keller Williams 1 week later. So with my Florida real estate license and brokerage, I was set to begin my career in the world of real estate. But I did have 3/4 of my AA degree completed, and I might as well finish it up since I had funds in my Florida prepaid account. I only had a few classes left, so I went back to Valencia to complete it. But there was now a new requirement at Valencia. You had to take a course called New Student Experience. I was not happy about this since obviously I wasn't a new student, but this class was much more than helping just first-year college students adapt to the college life. It was more of a career course in finding your strengths and weaknesses that you can work on and improve. But through this course, I found out that my 5 strengths were strategic, activator, focus, significance, and achiever. I believe all of these are qualities that a realtor should have. So let's elaborate a little more on those. Strategic. As realtors, we all have to be strategic in every move we make. From getting the client to closing the transaction, there's a strategy for it all. But then there's also an activator. I like to describe this as don't just say it, do it. We can all sit around and make goals, but did you have an action plan for these goals? To help keep me accountable in a daily activator, I have a document called the 411 for each month. 4 weeks, 1 task I need to complete each week, and 1 way I am going to achieve these tasks. I can have more than 1 task a week, obviously, but for each added task, you need a strategy to complete it. Focus, that's one big way that I focus, is on having a time block scheduled and staying true to it. I don't check my emails or do social media until 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That lead generation I have is done. Then I have a time block schedule for social media and checking and responding to emails. It's hard not to get distracted in this industry since we have so many balls to try to juggle at once. That is also where leverage comes in, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. So to do this, we need to be achievers. Since real estate is so competitive, people strive to be that achiever. To obtain the most amount of listings, to get so many hits on Facebook, to close as many units as they can in 1 month. All of these things are accomplished to be the best of the best, which leads us to the last strength, significance. Once you are thriving in your real estate business, significance comes with it. More people will see you for your sale signs. Your clients will recommend you to friends until you consume the market. This is what my business is built off right now. Referrals. Once you have made yourself significant, your business will thrive, believe me. But even after this assessment and all of these strengths that would make a great realtor, the best strength of all is relationship building. If you're coming into this industry because you're going to make tons of money and have a flexible schedule, you're in for a rude awakening. One of the best things my mentors have taught me is that it's all about mindset. Once your mindset changes, everything changes with it. I was lucky enough to start my career off by making no money for the first 8 months. Yes, you heard me right, and no, I am not crazy. I had enough savings in the bank, and my husband had a great job so that I can pursue this path. I learned how to put in the hard work when it seemed like I was getting absolutely nothing in return. This is how true entrepreneurs think. They will put their time and money into their business to hopefully see it pay off in the long run. Once my mind was off the money and contributing to my family, the game changed. When I set my goal for how many families I wanted to help instead of how many houses do I need to sell to make X amount, everything changed. And all I did was change the way I think. My whole demeanor changed. It was easier to talk to people, easier to connect with them. And that's what business is about. Connecting and nurturing relationships. You are helping your clients with the biggest purchase of their life. They need someone that they can truly trust. By building that relationship first, the trust in business will come along with it. My goals changed from I want to make $50,000 in my first year to I want to help 12 families in my first year. I ended up helping 20 families that year, and we have been growing ever since. But my mindset might have changed, but I still put in the work. As a realtor, your job description is lead generation, and lead generation. Making cold calls, door knocking, holding open houses, anything you can do to have a conversation about real estate. I time block 3 hours a day, the 9 to 12 time block, and lead generate. I set a goal of making 2 appointments out of those 3 hours. If I don't reach my goal, I continue to lead generate until I do. Some days I lead generate 6 hours, but I never do less than 3. This is how you will build your business. I remember in my first year back when I was taking the student experience class at Valencia College, I was required to do an interview for a person in my profession. So I interviewed Emily Brewer, an agent who grew her business to one of the largest producing teams in our office, and she had only been in the business for 3 years. I wanted to be where she was, so I asked her some interview questions to see what made her successful. This is where I learned the tool of lead generation. I copied her time block verbatim. I did what she did every day because look where she is now. I encourage you to do the same with an agent you admire in your office. She also taught me the skill of consistency. 30 days makes a habit, so I did what she did for 30 days, no matter what, and at the end of that 30 days, I had my first contract, along with 7 others, 8 contracts. I put in the work, and I was consistent about it. Even when you think it's not working, you have to build stairs, you can't just fly to the top. Now, some of you might be watching this as aspiring realtors and don't truly know what goes into getting your license. I encourage you to look up a real estate school near you and that best suits your schedule. After completing the 63-hour Florida course, you will take the test. With a passing grade of 75% or better, you now have your Florida real estate license. The next step is to find a brokerage. Call a local brokerage to set up an interview, and know when I say interview, you are interviewing them. The best advice I can give you is to interview more than one brokerage. Some offer great training, others offer lower payments to hang your license. Others just say, sure, here you go, you're on your own. Choose the brokerage that's right for you. Now, there are fees that come along with this. You'll have to pay for your course, your test, and brokerage fee for a monthly fee maybe to hang your license. Do your research in your local area and you'll find out exactly what these fees are. Another option is to actually get your degree in real estate. After 4 years in college, you can go straight to the test instead of the 63-hour course. Most people don't go this route since it's so much cheaper to go through a 63-hour course than a 4-year university. In my education, I achieved my associate's degree and took a business and marketing class as my electives. Thanks to the Valencia resources like my wonderful advisors and business centers, I knew these would help in my business and get a different view on other things. After getting my AA, I decided to go full-time in my business since I knew this is what I was going to do for the rest of my life. Luckily, I never had to pay a cent for college because of the Florida prepaid account my mother had since I was born. But if you don't have something like this, I encourage you to go to college and specialize in a niche. There are so many great scholarships, grants, loans that you can apply for, and that will help you achieve your goals. Valencia has a great website you can go visit and look at all of the options that are allowed to you. Once I graduated and put all my time and effort into my business, with a giving mindset, I started to take over the real estate industry in Central Florida. After my first year of helping 20 families, I needed leverage. I couldn't do it all on my own. That's when I started to build my team. First, I brought in an assistant. Then a month later, I hired a buyer's agent to help on the buying side while I focused on the listings. After my second year, I sold $13.7 million of inventory, so our team grew to 2 buyers and 1 listing agent. I am now in my 4th year of real estate, and I am 28 years old. By the end of this year, I will reach my goal of selling $21.2 million of inventory. You can do this also. Find your own strengths, but also find your weaknesses and turn them into your strengths. That's how you'll be successful in this industry.